promise that everyone bestowed on him when he first broke onto the scene.
Definitely. So, moving from the Showtime card, let's talk about what's going to be on HBO, the fight that we're going to be doing Punch Zone for. We've got Zab Judah versus Lucas Matthysse. Now, you've done some research and wrote an article for the Copybox website about Zab Judah. What are your thoughts about Zab Judah coming into this fight?
Kind of like Alan Green and Glenn Johnson, this is Zab Judah's last shot at the big time. Zab, he says he's motivated again, he says he's ready, and we're going to see if he can finally deliver. We saw how he looked the one time he did deliver when he fought Corey Spinks for the welterweight championship in the rematch in 2005. He looked sensational. Zab has all the tools in the world. He just has a little piece in him that sometimes can't put it together. It was usually a maturity issue. And if he can really step up this time and put it together, you know what? He's going to be a welcome addition to the junior welterweight division because he can compete with all those guys. Matthysse, on the other hand, is still, still more of a question mark about him because we haven't seen that much of him yet.
Right, and let's talk a little bit about Matthysse. Matthysse is 28-0. He's knocked out 25 of his opponents. So I guess he has some power.
He does,
his fight with Vivian Harris, the fight before his last one, was very controversial. He knocked Harris down, and then Harris seemed to be working his way back into the fight. In the fourth round, Matthysse got Vivian Harris into a little bit of trouble, and then they stopped the fight. A lot of people thought that stoppage was early.
Yep.
What did you think?
I agree. It was a very terrible stoppage, and Golden Boy Promotions, actually to their credit, trying to make an immediate rematch, which Matthisse's people rejected, which I was surprised about. So that raises some questions. Then again, Matthysse, he doesn't have all those knockouts just by fighting stiffs. He is a legitimate contender. I've heard from people that he is the goods. And this is a very compelling matchup. This is one guy at the edge trying to bring it, trying to step to that next level, and one guy making sure that he can stay at that level and not falter back. So we're looking at a very intense, compelling fight in the always deep junior welterweight division.
Well, I think this is going to be a really interesting fight because Matthysse hasn't really gone rounds with any of his opponents. And Zab Judah has this reputation of being a front runner. Do you think that reputation is deserved?
Yeah, it is. It is. Zab has always been the type of guy that he starts out extremely quick. He did it against Mayweather. He did it against Costa Tszyu, Carlos Baldomir. The list goes on and on. Zab Judah has always started out very fast, but then in the middle of the fight, his mind starts wandering. When he sees that his opponent is not really going away, that he's fighting back, he's still staying competitive, Zab's desire waned a little bit, and then he started clowning, started acting up, and that's how he lost the fights that he could have won still.
Right. And I have to say, I saw Zab fight in 2008, the night before the Puerto Rican Day versus Cotto. I thought he acquitted himself very well, even though he lost. He rocked Cotto several times, and he stayed in the fight, and he lost. I think he got TKO'd.
He was stopped in the 11th round.
Right. But I thought, okay, this is good. Zab, is working his way back in. He's going to be fighting, and he's going to last rounds, and then he got into the whole thing with Mosley and him with the mirror injuring his hand, whatever that was about. Right. All right. So this is what Zab, 5.0, I guess. And hopefully this is a better version of Zab that we've been waiting for.
Well, Zab Judah did say this is the version that you wanted, that you were talking about when I was young. And, he's with the main events again. They don't play around. They're going to make sure that he is going to be motivated. So we're going to see on Saturday. I'm looking forward to it.
So am I. Okay, also on that card, we have Robert Guerrero is back in action versus Vicente Escobedo. It's been well documented. Guerrero's wife has had her health problems with leukemia. And it's good to see him back in action versus Escobedo. I'm not sure what to really expect out of Escobedo. I mean, I guess Guerrero has talent. I thought that in the fight versus that Thai fighter that he got pushed a little bit. And until they stopped that fight on the cuts. Yordan, right. I thought that he was being pushed until they stopped the fight. I would love to see them lace it up and fight. But what do you expect from Escobedo in terms of opposition?
Vicente Escobedo is an interesting case. He's a guy that came from the 2004 Olympics with much promise. They were calling him the next Golden Boy in the same mold of Oscar De La Hoya. But he hasn't really delivered on those promises yet. Though, I mean, those were very high to begin with. And he lost early in his career to Daniel Jimenez, and he hasn't really been the same since. He's strung together a few wins. He still shows some promise, but when he really has to step up, he can't really put it together. He lost a very competitive decision to Michael Casitas, but when the time came to really put it together against Casitas, he didn't deliver. So this is yet another shot right now, and if he wins this fight, he can move on to bigger and better things. He's 28 years old. He still has time to do it. But at the same time, if he loses that fight, he's just going to be another, Olympian that didn't deliver the goods when needed to be.
Exactly. Okay.